3 years after announcing himself to the world, Superman gets himself involved in an international conflict, allowing Lex Luthor to take advantage and manipulate the public against the Cape Crusader. Film fans YouTube, hello and welcome back to the channel. I am Josh, your movie apprentice, and today I am looking at 2025's Superman, the launch point of the DCU, directed by James Gunn, starring David Corenswet, Rachel Brosnahan, and Nicholas Hoult. This is the first of the DCU movies, as I have stated, and there is a lot of anticipation going into this one. How would the DCU look? How would James Gunn direct it? How does this new universe begin? Well, before I get into that, make sure you are clicking that like button if you enjoy movies like myself, and subscribe for more video reviews that is coming all the time. Without further ado, let's jump into this. Superman, I'm going to say up front, I am not a comics expert. I am a film guy. I go into films for entertainment, and I like seeing where stories are told in a film form. In regards to this film, I think Superman is a solid starting point for this universe. It is very vibrant. It is very colorful. I like the characterization of Superman. There were some highlights in terms of the side characters. I think Nicholas Hoult is great as Lex Luthor, but there is some issues I have with it as well. Some of the comedy, whilst James Gunn does pull back on his crude comedy quite a bit in this, there are some times where I am taken out of the movie simply by some of the James Gunn isms that do appear throughout this film, whether that be some of the humor or even just constantly having to make music a pivotal part of a character. It feels like every time James Gunn has a character, music has to be a big part of their personality in some small way, shape, or form. And they have these dialogue exchanges about music that sometimes work, sometimes don't. And this, I don't feel they work as well. And I will say the script at times is a little bit lacking. It's the thing where it comes to forms of media. What works in a comic book media in dialogue doesn't always translate well to a film medium. But at the same time, on the flip side of the coin, James Gunn does make his comic book movies like comic books. He embraces the cartoony aspect of comic books and the worlds they are involved in. I love how this film wastes no time at all. It starts off with some text that rhymes in a fun way. It tells us about metahumans having existed on this world for 300 years. So, boom, we've established superheroes live in this universe. 30 years ago, we have him being sent to Earth. So, boom, we know about the origin of Krypton blowing up and him being sent down. And we are told he is quite early into his career. It's a nice, no nonsense way to get us thrown straight into the deep end of this movie. No long build up of Superman, his powers, or the revelation that he is from Krypton. We just jump straight into it, which I thought was a welcome breath of fresh air because, as Gunn said in interviews, there are some things we just don't need to see in every superhero movie anymore because we have seen it a million times. Now, as I've said, Nicholas Hoult, I think, is great as Lex Luthor. Nicholas Hoult is literally one of the best young actors in Hollywood at the moment. He has a great job as this narcissistic, egotistical character. Seeing his interactions throughout the film are really good. There is a reserved intimidation from him, as well as a sense of patheticness from it as well. He needs to have that complete control. I love how he acknowledges he has his envy, his insecurities, and he leans right into that. This film does not shy away from that. As for Superman and Lois Lane, I loved their chemistry in this one. We get a scene quite early on where they are ripping off each other quite jokingly, quite playfully, but quite savagely as well. It felt like a genuine relationship that had been built. And I love the way that Corenswet delivers some of his dialogue. He properly goes into that 50s, 60s drawl, that sense of power to reassure a person, that classic Superman kind of voice. I think he does a great job in this as Superman. His characterization just felt right. Superman, on the flip side of Batman, for example, Batman doesn't like to kill, and he goes out of his way to not kill his enemies. Whereas Superman, there is a whole battle sequence in this where he goes out of his way and stops fighting to save everything from a human to a squirrel. And it feels so perfect. And these are some great shots. And I loved how they incorporated his interactions with the other metahumans in this. We had Guy Gardner, Mr. Terrific, and Hawkgirl in this, seemingly comparison in their ideologies. Superman is very much all about preserving life, about caring for life, whereas the rest of them just want to see the job done and get the job done. I thought that was a clever element of the film, and I love the contrast showing the difference between Superman and some of the other metahumans that exist in this world. And we get some great characters as well. Mr. Terrific absolutely steals the show for me in this one. His quippiness is just so well done. His no nonsense attitude. He's very deadpan in how he delivers his lines, but you can tell there's layers of annoyance, layers of comedy in there. I just loved seeing his character on screen. And Nathan Fillion is the primary James Gunn affiliate in this one, playing Guy Gardner, and he plays a great dickhead character. I thoroughly enjoyed him in this one. I do feel like Hawk Girl was a little bit underutilized. It was just more her ripping into Guy Gardner and making loud hawk screeches, but they do get a strong moment towards the end that I feel like has a lot of repercussions that should really be looked into a little bit more, considering some stuff established earlier on. I'm trying to avoid all spoilers for this because I'm going to be doing a full spoiler talk with a good friend of mine who's mastering the Superman over the next few days. So stay tuned for that. But in terms of how I thought these characters worked, I thought they worked very well. But my big issue with this was the script, unfortunately. There are scenes that just feel like, well, plot elements that feel dragged out. There is genuinely a sequence where all one person has to do is not do this one thing, and Superman can save the day because he is literally one of the most powerful beings in existence. And this character doesn't do it, but then does it after a traumatic event. Didn't really need to be there because it's quite a quick fix. What I was saying earlier about some things working in comic books don't quite work in movies, it's the exposition dumping the explain to the audience segment. In a comic, I love the back and forth between the hero and the antagonist and the monologuing and the explaining stuff to this. In the middle of a high, tense, climactic fight sequence, having an exchange between crude characters saying like, oh no, that's how you managed to do this. Yes, that is exactly how I managed to do this. And just that back and forth, it just takes you out the movie just a little bit, even at the very end where we get our, that's one that was, well, we do get our Supergirl introduction in the final bit, and there's a random bit of exposition about what they like doing. There are just some times where it jumps into the Gunnisms that do pull me out the movie slightly. I just feel there are some elements that just don't really work in terms of the way the script plays out. There would be random riffs about what music they're into. There's a whole chat about punk rock that felt a little bit, oh, that's a Gunnism right there. The script for me just doesn't always work. There are times where it's great. Like I love the themes of conflict and how big corporations make money and influence these proxy wars. And there are definitely some real life comparisons you can make, which I know some people are going to cry woke at, but spoiler alert, our films have always been woke, so just get used to it. For me, Superman has some great performances in this. James Gunn directs the other than hell out of it. It's very vibrant. It knows when to be serious and knows when to be comical. Something that does ride that line a little bit tightly, but I feel like this is a solid jumping off point into this new universe. And I feel like everyone did a great job in this movie. So before I give my overall grade, again, you like seeing on the channel, make sure you click the like button and subscribe for more video reviews. That's coming all the time. But without further ado, let's grade this Superman for me. It's a strong start. I'm a big fan of James Gunn. I love his work. I was worried that his humor wouldn't match with Superman, but thankfully he manages to hold back on the vast majority of his crass humor. I loved Crypto as well. Crypto was great. He felt like an actual dog. It was beautiful to watch. I love the banter between Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner, Superman, Hawk Girl. Like the way these meta-humans and these reporters bounce off each other is a lot of fun. And I also do love the subtle cleverness of one character that has a major plot thread with Jimmy Olsen in this as well. It's a fun movie. Apart from some issues I have with the script and some of the effects, I feel like this was a solid jumping off point for the series. And I'm going to have to say it for me, Superman is a good cup of tea. So coming up on the channel, I'm going to be doing a full deep dive into this movie with a good friend of mine, Rob from RCK Films. He's done a great series of videos of Superman recently, so definitely go check him out on his channel. And make sure you subscribe and like the video so it gets out to more people. And until next day, everybody, my name is Josh. I've been Movie Apprentice. I'll see you all in the next video.